Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you're watching this in the world. I hope you guys are doing okay. And today is going to be more of a classic style video. These are how my old videos used to be done. I used to put a bit of gameplay in the background and just talk to you guys. And I think now more than ever, a conversation is needed regarding the FGC and the state of things right now. Because for as long as I've been in the fighting game community, I don't think I've seen things as turbulent as they are now. Now, don't get me wrong. There have been turbulent times in this community. There's been plenty of them. But I think this might be the most disagreements and dissension and people just disliking their favorite games the most that I've ever seen. Like, I've not seen it like this before. And at the forefront of that is Tekken. But this isn't exclusively a Tekken issue. This is actually an issue that is widespread in our community right now. It's just that it's the most egregious when it comes to Tekken because of the nature of what is going on. So, gonna have this Bleach gameplay in the background. Obviously, I told you guys I don't play games that I don't like, and I told everyone when I was playing Tekken 8 Season 1, if it got to the point where I was no longer having fun, then that would be it. This is where I'm having my fun now. I love playing Bleach. I've met so many nice, cool people like this guy in the background here. I've selected a couple matches here, but I played with this guy for a very, very long time, about 2 hours, and he did take plenty of wins off of me. So the games you're about to see here are not a full reflection of the set. And I introduced him to some Bleach communities that you guys will know, like Biscuits and Globeku. So he's gone over to those channels to get involved. But anyway, I'm digressing. This is just some gameplay for you guys to enjoy in the background. So, the Tekken website. That's going to be one of the main things that I want to talk about today. And I've had a lot of people messaging me, asking me, oh, Mike, have you seen this? Are you signing up to it? What is your take on it? So I'm going to go over all of that today, as well as the general sentiments in the FGC, because although it is Tekken, there's a lot of things going on here. So why is the fighting game community so angry? Why is every single community bitching about something? Or as people like to say, crying. That's everyone's favorite word now. And how did we get here? Well, it seems to me like in the previous generation of fighting games, they were really picking up some steam. Some of them started off quite poorly, like Street Fighter 5, and some of them sold stupidly well, like Mortal Kombat 11 and Tekken 7. And I think what's very obvious to me here is that the developers saw how well those games were selling, and even Street Fighter 5 picked up a lot of momentum towards the later part of its lifespan. And I think they tried to reach for the stars, and I think they tried to bring in new players. They tried to expand the player bases, and obviously when you're experimenting, you always run the risk of it blowing up in your face. And it's hard to say if it has completely blown up in their face, because if you look at player numbers are across the board higher for most games than they ever have been. There are some exceptions here and there, but I think when we're talking about the games not being good, we're talking about it as the more hardcore fighting game community, because the people that come to my channel, they're the ones that are more tuned in with what is going on with the fighting game community. They don't play fighting games on a casual aspect, or as casual as like any Tom, Dick or Harry down the road. You might not be a pro player, but fighting games might be your main game, and you probably feel very passionately about what is going on. So fighting games have reached that point in, I guess, their lifespan where they've become mainstream, I guess you could say, because they've been a niche for a very long time. And I would say they're still a niche, but they've definitely been more exposed to the mainstream. And it's caused a lot of dissension in our communities. And like I said, it's not just Tekken, so I want to start with Mortal Kombat. And the reason I want to start with Mortal Kombat is not to dunk on Mortal Kombat, it's actually to point something out that we're seeing in Fatal Fury right now. Obviously, we've had Cristiano Ronaldo and we've had this DJ, Salvatore, that has been put into Fatal Fury. Now, I'll be honest with you guys, I took one look at that, I started laughing and I said, yeah, I'm out. I'm not playing that. I'm not interested. It genuinely put me off the game. I said, you know, I'm not giving them my money. Like, I'm tired of this nonsense. I mean, I'm not the biggest SNK head. I've always had a lot of respect for it. I've played some of their games, but it's never been a series that is at the forefront of my library, we'll say. It's always been one that I've appreciated from afar, but I've had friends that are into it, so I'd play it. So for me, it wasn't a major loss, but I can see how angry people got when they saw that. And to begin, I think, like Maximilian said, maybe we were too harsh on Dimitri Vegas, because at least he tried to be Sub-Zero. At least he tried to be a character within the universe. Now, yes, I'm not saying it wasn't abysmal. It was absolutely abysmal. It was catastrophic. It was shambolic. I was bamboozled when I saw that. But I think what is going on with Cristiano Ronaldo and this DJ is actually far worse, because Dimitri Vegas, like I said, was cosplaying Sub-Zero. The guys that are in the new Fatal Fury game, that is them. And now we're adding real people into these fictional worlds when there are a bunch of characters that are going to be missing, or they could have been in that slot. Now, you could argue Cristiano Ronaldo is like the most followed man on social media, so why wouldn't you have him there? It's great for exposure, and I understand that argument. As someone that I'd say leans more in the purist camp of things, it is a little bit irritating to see, but I can understand from a monetary standpoint, and KOF is making this big comeback, it would make sense for them to do that. But you also have to understand on the more hardcore side of it, the people that have been rocking with SNK games for a long time, I can understand why they feel a certain type of way about it. I mean, I know if I saw this DJ in Tekken, I would feel a certain type of way about it, and people would say, oh Mike, you're crying again. And I don't take those comments too seriously. They're just dismissive comments, because as we've seen multiple times when I bring people on the live stream to say, do you think I was crying? It's always, no, I don't think you're crying. So people sing a very different tune when they're on Twitter or they're on some sort of social media out there, rather than when they're speaking to you. And I've seen a lot of people complain about the Cristiano Ronaldo thing, and I'm on your side, guys. I'm on your side. Now, I don't really have much skin in the game when it comes to Fatal Fury, so that's why you haven't really seen me making videos on it. But if you want my opinion on that, yeah, I think it's stupid. It's not something that I want to really be involved in anymore. I wasn't super high on Fatal Fury to begin with. I've always appreciated it from afar, but there's so many other fighting games that I'd rather be playing. There's them putting real people in the game, and the thing is, you could actually put real people in a fighting game and get away with it. I don't think most fighting game fans are going to complain if you put Michael Jai White in a fighting game. I don't think most fighting game fans will complain if you put Bruce Lee in a fighting game, or Jackie Chan, or Tony Jaa. Those characters make sense because there's kind of crossover there. You know, you see Jackie Chan's influence in Tekken with Lei Wulong. Bruce Lee's influence is all over anything to do with combat sports. You see a lot of Jet Li influence all over the place. You know, when I saw Feng Wei for the first time, he reminded me of Jet Li. So it's not that it's real people that are in Fatal Fury, who is in Fatal Fury. And like I said, I agree with those guys. I'm not going to sit here and go, oh, I'm boycotting it. I'm just not interested, you know? And we're going to get to the boycotting thing in a little bit, because I have some things to say about that. But I'm just not interested. I lost interest. For me, it's whatever. I'll watch it from afar. I hope the game does well. I hope the SNK audience get a game that is going to sustain them for many, many years. But for me, it's a bit too much silliness and goofiness, and I already play enough fighting games, so that's that. That's really all I wanted to talk about with Mortal Kombat. I mean, we've covered Mortal Kombat for a long time. We know the disaster that is MK1, and although it has gotten better now and people seem to be enjoying it more, my god, you couldn't have launched the game in a worse state than Mortal Kombat. Well, actually, funny I say that, I'm playing Bleach, so we'll get to that in a little bit. But for the big three, Mortal Kombat did not get off to a good start, but people seem to be enjoying it a bit more now, so more power to them. Hopefully the next Mortal Kombat game does not launch like the disaster of MK1. I do want to talk a little bit about Street Fighter. Street Fighter is not really a game I talk about too much on this channel because I don't play it too much. I play it every now and then in my spare time, but it's very, very rare, so I don't normally dip my toes in that. But I do pay attention to what is going on, and I can see the Street Fighter community is getting more and more sick and tired of the lack of communication or lack of updates. And one of the things that is perplexing to me from the outside looking in is seeing how many of these like avatar characters, non-playable characters in ranked or whatever, are getting all of these awesome costumes and these awesome crossovers, and the mainstay characters like Ryu, Ken, Chun-Li, Akuma, they're not getting any of this. And I thought to myself, there was a Baki crossover with Street Fighter, and I was like, oh wow, they're cosplaying, they're going to do a Baki thing. Baki's one of my favorite animes. I was like, okay, I'll tune in for this. I'll turn Street Fighter on for this. If I can like palette swap Bison for a Baki character, I'll definitely lock into that. And lo and behold, it was nothing to do with the main roster. It was to do with these silly avatars that you get in the World Tour mode or something. And I was just like, that seems a bit weird. Like, people that play fighting games also watch a lot of anime. Why wouldn't you just, I don't know, like it seemed odd. But then I thought, well, maybe, you know, Street Fighter's numbers are huge. You know, Street Fighter's doing its own thing. It's eclipsed everything else currently in the fighting game sphere. So maybe there's a lot of casuals that are playing it that are just playing the World Tour aspect of it, and it's not feasible for Capcom to put it on the characters in the same way it is for the avatars. So I guess there has to be a monetary standpoint for them to do something like that, because I find it very, very weird. I mean, it would have made me turn the game back on. But aside from that, they seem to be very annoyed that there's no updates. I heard something about the new Pro Tour or the new season being played with the old version. You know, Eleanor's not here yet. I don't know 100% on that. I heard some rumblings on it, but either way, I've been seeing some tweets and they don't seem too happy. So that's what those guys are disappointed about. And I've also heard that the drive rush system is not the best system in the world. I've also heard it's not the worst. It's by no means the worst. It's not like people are boycotting the game because of it. But I have heard from some people, you know, the drive rush system can be a little bit jarring, and the throw loop situation in Street Fighter and the wall stuff is a little bit annoying. But I don't know if it's as serious as some of the other things we're seeing in other fighting games. So I'm not going to comment too much on that to draw the ire of the Street Fighter community, because I'm just not knowledgeable enough. This is just what I've heard from some players. Won't name names, you know, I don't want to throw them under the bus, but that is what I've heard. Moving on to the game you're watching on my screen right now, and obviously this is a fighting game that a lot of people in the traditional FGC probably won't play, but I cross over into the anime side quite a lot. I do love these games, and this is one of my favorite fighting games to play. But my lord, you want to talk about a disaster of a launch? I get onto Mortal Kombat all the time, but fair is fair, and even though I love the combat in this game and I love how all the characters play, you couldn't have had a bigger disaster on launch than this game. This game launched with no ranked mode and no lobbies in a fighting game. That is almost unheard of. Now, fair play to Tamsoft, they have updated the game. They've removed almost all of the infinites and all of the loops, so the playing experience is actually really good now. I'm quite addicted to this game. I spend most of my time when I get free time playing Bleach. I really can't put it down. But unfortunately, there's no ranks right now. Now, we have been told by Tamsoft that there is going to potentially be an update one day where they add ranked in, which for me would be a godsend because I genuinely love this game. But it just seems like one thing after another for fighting games, like an incredible battle system and an anime game that I don't find repetitive. Even though there is simplicity in its combos, there is a lot of nuance in the neutral in this game and how you approach it. And as I get to play stronger players like this individual here, you really do have to change up your game plan, and you start to understand the things about your character that you didn't know before and how to punish things. Even there, punishing the white burst, I didn't know that was a thing before. I thought you couldn't touch them. So it's been a very cool playing experience, but they launched it without ranked and without lobbies, and that is just unacceptable. Absolutely unacceptable. So obviously there was a big uproar when this game was coming out, and everyone was trying to be optimistic because 1,000 Year Blood War is going on right now. I think they call it Core 4 is on its way. And I don't want to like push any negativity towards the Bleach guys, because I know they've been waiting for a game for a long time. They've waited for their anime to come back forever, and it's finally back now, and it's a really good game. But we got to call a spade, man. You cannot do this again, Tamsoft, because you're going to do a follow-up to this game. We all know how anime games go. We'll get one in 1 or 2 years. And you've already got a good foundation there. Do not upset your community, because people like Globeku, people like Biscuit, people like Qyon, and myself have really been trying to sing this game's praises and get it out there, but I am not going to stand for that bullshit twice. This was Bleach's first outing in like 15 years on consoles. We hadn't had one since back in the PlayStation 3 times, and I wanted to stay high on it, and for the most part, because the gameplay's been solid, I have. But you do that shit again, I swear to God, I'm going to come down on you like a ton of bricks. So please, for the love of God, don't ever do that again. And we experienced this with Demon Slayer Hinokami Chronicles. When that game launched, it had no lobbies, and you're sitting there like, this is a fighting game, guys. What are we doing here? What is going on in these offices where you're like, yeah, let's launch this now, 0 lobbies? Like, do you guys not play fighting games? So we've been very generous to Bleach because it did a lot of things right and it made a lot of people happy, and there is a strong community of players on this. I mean, I'm in Biscuit stream almost every day playing with these guys. It's so much fun. So please get it right next time. Let's move on to the next game. Well, just before I move on to the next game, actually, let me just mention it happened in Naruto Ultimate Ninja Storm Connections as well. No lobbies, so you got to look for your friends in ranked. Like, what kind of nonsense is this, man? It's just one thing after another. No wonder we're all pissed off. But let's talk about 2xKO or 10xKO. What kind of game launches as an assist fighter or a tag fighter with 10 characters? 10 characters. I mean, you might say, oh, come on, Michael, man, like, leave it out. But let's think about that for a second. 10 characters. If that was Marvel vs. Capcom, you guys would shit the bed, and you know that. It's unacceptable to launch the game in that state, in my opinion. I mean, it's already been delayed multiple times. With those guys, you know, I haven't got too much to say about the gameplay because it does look pretty cool. It's not for me, but launching the game like that, yeah, you can understand why they're annoyed. Of course, you can understand why they're annoyed. You've got Hunter x Hunter, which doesn't look particularly appetizing to me, I'll be honest, but again, Hunter x Hunter's getting a proper fighting game, so I don't want to rain on its parade too much. And Soul Calibur and Dead or Alive are dead, right? So 2 big franchises in our scene are gone. And a lot of people are looking at Virtua Fighter as the last hope for for fighting games, because if Virtua Fighter launches in a bad state, I think we're going to start entering the dark ages of the fighting games. It might really be Street Fighter that is holding it together, because you can't deny Street Fighter's numbers. Say what you want about the game, the communication, the avatars, the delays, but the numbers are there. The numbers are huge. You know, they eclipse every other fighting game almost put together, I think. I don't even think it's close. So other than Street Fighter, we might be entering a dark age, and I really don't want that to happen, because obviously we love fighting games. So, you know, I spend my time when I'm gaming playing fighting games. I have to be very selective with my gaming time now, between a job and a second job, and then YouTube, and then gym and friends, and trying to do stuff, you know, as I get older. I have to be very selective with my time, and I don't want my favorite genre to be in the bin, but that is unfortunately the way it's going. So we hope and we pray that Virtua Fighter is going to land, and it's going to sort of rejuvenate the other games, because, you know, Street Fighter is doing its thing, but the other games, it seems to be lacking across the board. So that brings me on to Tekken. I've been rambling for quite a bit here. That brings me on to Tekken. Tekken launched its season 2 as an absolute disaster, an absolute unmitigated disaster, the likes of which we have never seen before. I mean that. We had a bad season 3 of Tekken 7. Yes, we did. I lived through that shit. I was there with you guys. This is unlike anything that I have seen before, to the point where I'm not doing a boycott. We're going to talk about the website. I'm not doing a boycott. I'm not on social media telling people, going into their DMs or sending them messages saying you shouldn't be playing this game. I don't care what people play. It's up to them. When you hear me talking about things on this channel, it's how I feel about it. And sometimes it resonates with a lot of people, and sometimes a lot of people told me to shut the fuck up. It is what it is, but it's how I feel about it. Now, I got this comment from this individual that I want to read out to you as I was about to record this video. I saw it and I found it quite funny, and it's a good comment as well, because it sums up the nonsense responses you get from people. So, to give you guys a bit of backstory, I hosted a Tekken 7 stream the other day because I didn't want to play Tekken 8, but Sundays are a community day. I host streams on Sundays for the community to jump in and play games with me, and we can sit and talk and we just have a chit chat. As the channel was growing, obviously it's harder to keep track of chats, so Sundays are the days where a lot of the OGs on the channel or people just want to sit and talk and play some games, and it's not one of those heated podcasts. And I really enjoy doing them. You know, I've got a very lovely community. I've got some awesome moderators. Shout out to Jaton, Jahuti, Alexis, Selzadar, can't even remember if he's a moderator anymore, C Bims, Mediu, Kim, Mistra. Now, I've got a lot of good moderators. I don't know if I missed anyone. I apologize if I did. Don't flame me in my Discord. I'm so sorry. I'm recording this very late. But I've got a really nice community, so I tried to do those things for the community. And so I asked them, would you rather play Tekken 7 or Tekken 8? Because I'm not playing Tekken 8 anymore. I've tuned out. We'll see what happens with the update. I can definitely come back to it, don't get me wrong, but for now, the month of April, I'm not playing. However, today's your day. What do you want to play? The community overwhelmingly voted for Tekken 7. And so I said, okay, cool. We'll put Tekken 7 on. And then this guy leaves this comment and he says, cringe people are saying 7, laughing my ass off, let it go. Season 2 ain't the best by far, but running back to 7 is just stupid, won't accomplish nothing, and you'll end up back on 8 anyways. 7 was not better, and I spend thousands of hours on it. No way in hell I'm letting a current game send me back to the previous one that's like 8 years old, all just because of some changes in the new season. FGC is full of crybabies. And I found this comment really funny because it read to me like he just doesn't want to play an older game because he played it for a very long time. And that's perfectly fine, but I don't know about you guys, but I still play Clash of the Ninja. I still play J-Star Victory Versus. I didn't like Jump Force. I think J-Star Victory Versus is the superior jump game. So why would I subject myself to a game that I don't want to play? If this guy wants to play that game, then by all means play it, of course. Why would you not play it? I would never tell somebody that wants to play Tekken 8, don't play it. Do whatever you want with your time. I saw people in K-Wiss's stream. I tuned into his stream to see what was going on because I know a lot of content creators are being bashed for turning Tekken 8 on. And I think it's kind of hilarious that you can't just let people enjoy what they want to enjoy. Now, obviously, for me, it's whatever. Like, no one's going to tell me what to play. I'll play whatever I want. I'll put on whatever I want. But going into somebody's stream and getting onto them because they're playing Tekken 8, or calling them a crybaby because they want to talk about Tekken 8, you know, talk about a series that they've been invested in for a long time that is in a bad state. It really says more about the person saying it, that you think that people are crying because they're on a gaming channel. This is not a political channel. This is not a channel about geopolitics. It's not a channel about stuff that's happening on social media and other scenes. It's about fighting games, right? So we talk about fighting games here. But some people act like, hey, why aren't you talking about this thing that's going on in whatever part of the world? Why aren't you talking about the stock market? It's just like, are you stupid or something? You want me to talk about Formula 1 on the gaming channel? Like, get your act together. What do you think Tekken content creators, let me repeat that. What do you think Tekken content creators are going to be talking about on a Tekken channel, dumbass? Like, use your head. But anyway, I was in K-Wiss's stream, I was watching what was going on, and I could see some of the comments he was getting. I was just like, these people are mad. What do they want the man to do? Like, he plays Tekken. I don't know if he does it for a living, but I know a lot of these pro players and some of these streamers have played Tekken almost exclusively, and so the game's in a bad state, so of course they're going to talk about it. What is wrong with you guys? And if they want to play it, what is the problem? It's their YouTube channel. You're weird. You are weird when you're doing that. Like, leave people alone. Of course you can say, hey, I don't like this game, I think it's crap, and you give your reasons why. God knows I did that with Mortal Kombat 1, and I told people, you don't want to play Mortal Kombat 1, come over to my streams or playing Tekken 8. Well, now the tides have turned. Now I'm telling people, hey, I ain't got nothing for you, because I can't recommend Bleach right now because it has no lobbies and no ranks. So even though I enjoy the combat system, I can't recommend it in good faith to people. Maybe one day I will be able to. I'm just telling people, hey, you know, do whatever makes you happy. What makes me happy is playing this game. Hey, if it makes you happy to go into people's comment section and call them crybabies, even though it's clearly you the one crying, then hey, do that as well. Whatever makes you happy. But it's not cringe for Tekken players to be like, well, we don't like the current iteration of the game, so we're going to try a different iteration of the game. That makes sense to me. Like I said, I didn't like Jump Force, but I like J-Star Victory Versus. That is my jump game. That's the one I want to play. I'm not the biggest fan of Ultimate Ninja Storm, but I like Ultimate Ninja, I like Clash of the Ninja, I like some of the other Naruto games, so I'll go and play those games. What kind of weirdo plays a game they hate? Huh? You want to see me playing a game I hate? That's weird behavior. So you can call people crybabies for using their time wisely, but I would call you a dumbass. Now, onto the website. A lot of people have been mentioning the website to me. No, I am not going to sign the website. It's not because I want to rain on their parade. And if you see my name on there, it is not me. I'm not signing that website. The website to me is just a bit like, I don't understand what the end game is here. If it's just to raise awareness, great. But I feel like I can raise more awareness by making videos on my YouTube channel about what is going on. I mean, that's what I did with Mortal Kombat 1, and they reached far and wide. I've had loads of people to this day message me about my Mortal Kombat 1 videos, telling me that they're happy that they saw them, they didn't buy the game. Mission accomplished. I don't feel like a website is going to do anything. And also, when I lock into my YouTube channel, that is Gamer Mike. That's me doing my part for what I believe in when it comes to games. When the YouTube channel goes off, that's just Mike. It's just good old Mike. You know, I'm not losing sleep over it. So for me, I'm doing my part with Tekken, at least what I believe. So for everyone that keeps on sending me the website, I appreciate it. I understand why you want me to sign it, but I am not going to sign anything on that website. I don't feel like it's going to go anywhere, and I feel like all of those people are better off making YouTube channels and expressing their disappointment of the season on a YouTube platform where you're going to get more eyes on it. But you want to make a website, more power to you. It's just not something that I'm going to really pay too much attention to. I don't feel like it's going to go anywhere, and I feel like not playing a game that you dislike is the ultimate boycott, because at the end of the day, Steam numbers will drop, PlayStation numbers will drop, Bandai Namco will see that, and that will make them do something. But if you're complaining about the game and you're still playing it, then it defeats the purpose. It defeats the purpose. The website becomes null and void. And I know that on the website that if you're caught playing the game, it removes you, but still, like, I don't know how foolproof it is, and at the end of the day, simply not playing it, not buying the season pass or any of the microtransactions in the game is what will hurt Bandai Namco and force them to do what we want them to do. And that's it. It's a very simple method. And if you have a voice on YouTube and you can speak to people about these things, then obviously that is also a good method. So the website is whatever. I do want to talk about people saying that the community is entitled. I think when you pay for a product and you go to any establishment, whether it's a restaurant, whether it's a hotel, whether it's a club and you've paid for entry, you pay for a certain level of service. And if you're dissatisfied with the service as the customer, you have the right to say something. I don't think the community is entitled, and I don't think they're any more entitled than any other community that is dissatisfied with a particular product. Everybody reacts this way. Now, some people, yes, they go overboard. I am not in the camp of people that are attacking the developers verbally. I will call them on their bullshit if I see something like what they did to Mrs. Play Stuff, but I've at no point called her rather a name on Twitter or viciously attacked these people or said KYS. I think people that are doing that are a little bit weird and somewhat unhinged. I think there's a way to levy criticism against the developers and even members of our community without going mad, because at the end of the day, guys, even though we are passionate about these things, they are video games. And yes, whilst I do care, and that's why I have a channel on them, I'm also a grown-up, and I think doing those things is kind of ridiculous. There's better ways to go about it. You are adults as well, so if you want to do those things, then do them. But if you're asking me, no, you're not going to catch me doing that. I might leave snarky responses for Harada and Michael Murray on Twitter, but again, they're snarky responses. They're not me telling anyone KYS. That's weird behavior. On the flip side of that, Harada and Michael Murray should not be asking for feedback if they're going to block people for giving them feedback. I don't like the excuse of, oh, they read a little bit of it and it triggered them and that's why they blocked certain individuals like Mrs. Playstuff. That is bullshit. That is not good enough. We are adults. If someone sends you a message, read the whole message before you make a knee-jerk reaction. I am not going to ask for feedback or leave my comment section open if I don't want to hear it from the comment section. If I leave my comment section open, that means that I've left it open for people to criticize me or to praise me, whichever way they want to go about it. So to Michael Murray and Harada, yes, you may not be the only people developing the game, but you did ask for the feedback and people started to give it to you, and then you started blocking certain individuals and you're only replying to people that seem to be saying nice things about the game, which doesn't really make you guys look particularly good. And to everybody else saying, oh, there's other people that are working on the game, Mike, 100% I hear that. But with all things and how I see things is Captain goes down with his ship. I don't know who all the other people are. I know it's Nakatsu, I know it's Shimbori, I think his name is. I know Michael Murray, I know Harada, and I know a couple of the other people on the team. But the captain is Harada and Michael Murray is his first mate. And the way I see all things, same goes for me with my YouTube channel. Captain goes down with his ship. As far as criticism goes, if you're going to communicate with people on social media, then you should be willing to accept the criticism, not accept the abuse. I want to make those two things perfectly clear. Abusing Harada verbally and criticizing him are two very different things. I don't want people to conflate them. I am not in the camp of sending abuse to another grown man over the internet, because you probably won't do it to his face. Not because Harada is going to punch you, but because it's fucking weird, okay? So there is a flip side to that. Yeah, the community is being a little bit weird about some of the responses. Yes, 100%. But not everyone. Some people are genuinely trying to give criticism and they're not paying attention, and thus they should not be asking for it. If they don't want to communicate with us, no problem. Just don't communicate with us. Don't open the door and then be surprised when someone walks through it. But in all of that, in all of this mess and everything that I've mentioned here today, the community is turning on each other, because you have some people saying, I don't want to hear it anymore. I'm tired of hearing that stuff. So I'll respond to that first. If you're tired of hearing it, stop clicking on the videos. You have full agency. You don't live in a country where I am forcing you to do something, right? It's not a dictatorship. You don't have to do it. There is no one that can ruin my enjoyment on Bleach. And this game has a lot of problems, and I'm in the Bleach community on Twitter. I see what they're saying about the game. I see some Dragon Ball people saying some things about this game. I've hosted podcasts where people have said things about this game. There's nothing, and I need to stress this, there's absolutely nothing that any of you can say to dampen my fun on this game. I will sit and play this game on my own for hours on end, and nobody can change that. So if you don't like what people are saying about your favorite game and you can't take it, and I'm going to be honest with you, if you're a little bit fragile, don't click on the videos. It shouldn't neuter the experience for you. That is also weird. And then on the flip side of that, the community members that are going into other people's streams and flaming them for playing certain games, namely right now Tekken 8, you are also weird. Leave people alone. You want to make your videos about it, you want to make your tweets about it, I'm all for that freedom of speech, but why are you going into people's streams saying, hey, why are you playing this game? Boycott it. If people don't want to boycott, if people want to play the game, they paid good money for the game. Just because we don't like it does not mean that person X and person Y has to agree with us. That is what having freedoms is. You guys don't particularly like Bleach. I know some of you don't like it. I love it. I don't care if you like it or not. But coming into my stream and telling me why are you playing that game is a waste of time. You're wasting your time. It's never going to change my opinion or how I do things. And you know it's mostly not going to do that for the content creators you're doing that to. So it's just a bit of a mess right now. I think with the Tekken thing, the people I feel the most sorry for are the pro players. They're really going to eat a shit sandwich this year, because I really don't think that the Tekken developers are going to be able to fix the problems that they've caused. They changed 1,500 things. I just don't foresee them be able to fix that. I really do feel bad for the pro players, and I think historically I've given them a bit of slack and been like, oh guys, come on, it's a game. But really, a lot of these guys, that's all they do. They play Tekken because they're signed to contracts. It's like a job for them, and so they go out to these tournaments expecting to play a game that is in a fully coherent state. So those are the guys that I really feel for. But for the rest of us, the content creators, we can just do other things. It's not that deep, you know. We're gonna sit back and we're gonna watch the shit show unfold when Evo starts, and it's gonna be funny. But a part of me is also like, man, I feel bad for these guys, because we're sitting there laughing at their expense and they're playing the casino having to deal with this bullshit. But we'll see what happens with the patch. Essentially, what this comes down to is everybody has their breaking points at different times. I broke very early with Mortal Kombat in the first basically season. And a lot of people were like, oh my god, might give it a chance, and it took a couple of months for some people, but we all sort of got on the same page, and that's fine. You know, I have a low tolerance for these sort of things because, you know, my time is precious and I don't like it being wasted, and I felt like it was. Most people are on the same page with Mortal Kombat now. It took people a little bit longer to break with Tekken 8, but people have broken now. You know, I sat through season 1 and I wanted to, but I've gotten to my breaking point now, and I'm doing other things, and I'm happy to do other things. So just because people were whining about it in season 1 doesn't really mean they're crybabies, because a lot of you have broken now as well. A lot of you have said, you know what, that's it, I'm out, and that's fine. But as for this website, you know, people want to do the website, go ahead, do the website. I'm not partaking in that. I'm not interested in it. I don't think it's going to do anything. I think it's a waste of time personally, but maybe I'm wrong. I'd be happy to be proven wrong. So that's really everything that I wanted to talk about today. Will I be talking about Tekken 8 on this channel going forward? You bet your ass I will. Will I be playing it? No. When they patch it, and I'm not talking about the emergency patch because that's only 2 characters, I mean a proper patch, then I'll come back and I'll check it out. Maybe the emergency patch will have extra things in it and it'll make me want to check it out. Then we'll go and check it out. But until then, there'll be no Tekken 8 streams. There'll be Tekken 7, maybe Tekken Tag 2, maybe Tekken 6. We shall see. But I'm very happy playing Bleach. And if you're one of the people that are saying Tekken 8 is a pile of garbage and still playing it, and you've also signed the website, you're not really helping your cause. But if you want to, you paid for the game, it's your money. I know everyone's at each other's necks right now. I know everybody is beefing on social media. I know everybody is kind of at their wits' ends with their games. But we are a community. I think we will pull through. It's not that deep, you know. I think it's deep for the pro players, but for us, where we're from the outside looking in at all of this madness, I think it's going to be okay. So that's my rant over, guys. Hope you enjoyed the gameplay in the background. Shout outs to the player that I was playing, and I'll catch you guys very soon. Take care and peace.